What's up, friends and car lovers? It's Drake from Car Show Life. Now, if you're not a fan of the Chevrolet Camaro, this is probably not the video for you. But if you are an F-body, Zeta, or Alpha freak like me, stay tuned. Welcome to another edition of Car Show Life on YouTube. This is a personal edition for me because I've fulfilled a dream that I've had for the past 21 years to order a brand new Camaro. Now, behind me, my 2011 2SS RS convertible Sunshine, which I have enjoyed for the past 11 years, purchased certified pre-owned, but it was my first V8 Camaro. This past year, I was able to secure an allocation for a 2SS Coupe, and that's what we have right here, our 2023 2SS Camaro Coupe that will soon be our Car Show Life cruiser. So with this video, I wanted to highlight the differences between the 5th generation 2010 to 2015 cars and the 6th generation 2016 to 2024 cars. For anybody that doesn't know the differences, or maybe has an old 4th gen or old 3rd gen, and maybe wanting to pick up a 5th gen or a 6th gen for a different driving experience. So let's take a walk around these two great cars. Now, my first two Camaros were both V6 Sport Coupes. The first one, a 1985 with a 2.8 liter V6, and the second one, a 2002 Rally Sport with the 3800 V6. I had always wanted a V8, and I had always wanted a convertible. So in 2012, I purchased this beauty here from Wright Buick GMC in Wexford, Pennsylvania as a certified pre-owned. And upon turning in the title for my 2002 and walking out to see this car in the sun, Sunshine was born. Now, upon the suggestion of one of my Camaro buddies, he said, you should run the VIN number, make sure there aren't any technical service bulletins out on the car for any recalls. So I did. It did indicate that there was a technical service bulletin for the convertible top, as well as its origins. It was purchased and operated by Budget Rent-A-Car in Richmond, Virginia, and put into service April 1st, 2011. I bought it 364 days to the day after March 31st, 2012, with 9,989 miles on the clock when I took her for a test drive. She's powered by the L99 V8. That's the designation for the automatic transmission, 6-speed with tap shift. It puts out about 400 horsepower from the factory. I've added the RotoFab cold air intake, so that kicks it up by, I don't know, 8, 10, 15, something like that. I had it dynoed at Camaro Superfest in 2017, and it was pulling 324 horsepower at the rear wheels. Now, because it was a rental car, the original wheels were curbed and scratched, so I replaced them with these SLP Redline wheels. Now, these were the wheels that were on the 2007 convertible concept car. They were also a part of the Hot Wheels package in 2013, as well as the SLP ZL cars in 2012. Sunshine's color is rally yellow. The modifications included a RotoFab cold air intake kit, the RotoFab engine cover, strut tower covers, the RotoFab fuse box cover. We have a blackout for the front bow tie, LED fog lamps with the DRL harness, obviously the SLP wheels, an upgraded interior kit for full leather. Because the car had been a rental for the first year of its life, it really wasn't cared for much. Spent a lot of time with the top down, and the upholstery was starting to yellow and crack, especially on the driver's seat. So I found leatherseats.com and got a reproduction of the original factory black with gray inserts, and was able to recover the seats myself in full leather. And last but not least is the Solo Axleback exhaust. Now, this livened up the sound of the engine from stock, and I really like the sound of the car, especially when you hear the decel burble. Now, when Chevrolet brought the Camaro to production in 2010, a lot of the design cues in the interior from the original concept car in 2006 remained. The gauge cluster, the steering wheel, the center stack, the 4-pack gauges that call back to the early 67 to 69 Camaros. But I'll argue that by 2010, 2011, a lot of this stuff was outdated when it went to production. The Mustang of the period already had a 7-inch touchscreen, and by comparison, they just take up a lot of room. The gauges are cool, but they're not very readable from the driving position, and the space could have been much better used as quick storage for cell phones or sunglasses. Also, the head unit controls a lot of the factory features and settings for the vehicle, so I was hesitant to remove them and replace things because I wanted to maintain the original appearance of the interior. However, it should be noted, I have never put a CD in this CD player. Now, when it comes to trunk space on the 5th gen convertible, it's not very generous. You have a cargo separator here, and here is the top stack. So you've got room to place things underneath. This is my tonneau cover bag. And you've got some room on the side, which you won't have in the 6th gen. So it's a much wider space. And in the coupes, it actually was pretty generous, as long as you didn't need to fit anything bigger than that aperture into the car. Having owned a 3rd gen and a 4th gen Camaro, the 5th gen was definitely a game changer for Camaro. It was a much better car, even though it was a much bigger car. And you can feel that when you drive it compared to the 6th gen or compared to a 3rd gen or 4th gen. It's just a big car, weighs like 3,400 pounds, but it had big power. 400 horsepower. I think the peak power in the 4th gen was about 325 horse. You know, the anemic days of the late 70s and 185 horsepower out of a 305 are long gone. So let's take a look at this 2023. It is powered by a 6.2 liter LT1 V8 that puts out about 455 horsepower. It's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission with tap shift. And this car is heads and tails above the 2SS RS that I own because it has so much more. 4 driving modes, dual mode exhaust, magnetic ride control. The driving experience in this car is so much more refined because of the electronic enhancements. The 2011, it rides rough. The suspension is stiff, and there's not much you can do to tune the car while driving other than turning off the traction control. Now, something that was first available in the later 5th gens was Recaro racing seats, and they've retained that for the 6th generation. These are the Recaro seats that are available as a $1,500 option, and I gotta say, they are amazing. I don't know how comfortable they're going to be on a long drive, but I look forward to finding out. The side bolster, the lumbar support are fantastic. Now, I said the interior of the 5th gen was spacious by comparison with the 6th gen. Because they massaged the size of the car down by a few inches, they narrowed it, they shortened it, they lightened it by 300 pounds, you lose some interior room. So the console is a bit smaller. My knees are up against the knee pads, which were an option, and I'm so glad I got them because they're very cool looking. But they also protect my knees from rubbing against the interior. The back seat basically is kind of a suggestion. In the 6th generation, you're not going to fit anything more than maybe a couple of toddlers back there. Full-grown adults might not fare very well, even for short trips. So with this car, because I'm going to be taking it to car shows with our Car Show Life tent and all of our Car Show Life displays, I've incorporated a Schrader Performance rear seat delete kit that was actually a day one modification. Brought it home from the dealership and immediately tore the back seat out and put this together. This is going to make it easier for me to haul all of our Car Show Life stuff around to the various shows that we're going to with this car. And like the 5th gen, I kind of feel the use of space here is compromised. For example, these 2 large HVAC vents in the same position as that 4-pack gauge cluster in the 5th gen, you lose a lot of space around the shifter, especially for an automatic where you don't need as much throw room as you did for a manual. The console is narrower. The console box thus is much smaller than in the 5th gen. The cup holders now occupying some of the space that the console box took because the place that the cup holders would have been now is reserved for the electronic parking brake, the drive mode selector, and the StabiliTrak shutoff switch. The trunk space of the 6th generation Camaro, while deep, is fairly narrow. you don't have as much on the side here as you did in the 5th generation car. Even the convertible 5th gen has more room than a 6th gen coupe on the width. The trunk space on the 6th gen is also inhibited by the opening. There's way more room inside here than it will allow you to fit through the aperture. With the back seat removed, cargo area is pretty well expanded. So this is going to be good for Car Show Life to transport all our stuff to and from car shows and still be able to have the Camaro on display and drive and enjoy the car as we hit the car show circuit this summer. And if you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for indulging me and watching me go on and on about these two cars that I really, really, really love. And I hope you'll share your Car Show Life story with me. Connect on Facebook and Instagram at Car Show Life, back in, hood up. And please like and subscribe here on YouTube at Car Show Life and see all the adventures that we're going to go through this summer with Car Show Season 2023 at Bloomington Gold in Illinois, at the Camaro Nationals in Morgantown, Pennsylvania, at Corvettes at Carlisle, at SEMA 2023, and more. So stay tuned. We've got a lot coming here with Car Show Life. Until next time, I'm Drake Donovan. Keep living that Car Show Life, back in, hood up.